Howdy and welcome to Chapter 9. Today we're going to talk about creating and maintaining high-performance organizations. And this chapter talks about how human resource management really helps an organization meet its business goals. So the challenge facing managers today is how to make their organizations into high-performance work systems. Organizations need to determine what kind of people fill their needs. Then they need to locate those people, train them, and motivate them. And we talked about knowledge workers. Okay, all surrounds that and how important that is. So organizations introduce integrated high-performance work practices and experience increases in productivity and long-term financial performance. So what high-performance work system really means, it's a combination of the people, the technology, and the organizational structure that makes use of all the resources and achieves the goals. And all of these things have to fit together in order to create this well-running system. So the elements of this system, there are 5. Organizational structure. Okay, that's the way the organization groups people into divisions and departments and reporting relationships, sort of what you see when you look at an organizational chart. Then we have task design. This is how details how the organization groups activities, whether people are in teams or individual or that sort of thing. And we looked at this in the chapter on job analysis. Then we have people. We have to be able to recruit, select, train, and develop people who are good fits for the job. Then we have to have reward systems. We have to be able to reward these people for contributing to the organization and helping achieve goals. Then lastly, we have information systems. This enables information to be shared widely across the organization. So the outcomes of a high-performance work system include higher productivity and efficiency. And from these outcomes, they lead to higher profits. So a high-performance work system can also have other outcomes such as high product quality, great customer satisfaction, low employee turnover, but all these things in turn lead to higher productivity and efficiency, thus leading to higher profits. So in order to be high performing, an organization needs to be a learning organization. And what that means is that they support lifelong learning and enable employees to acquire and share knowledge. And they provide these resources, and managers support this. It becomes a culture in the organization of learning. Some of the key features is continuous learning. I mean, each employee in each group has ongoing efforts to gather information and apply this to their decision. And it's an ongoing process. It keeps going and it gets better and better. Knowledge is shared. One challenge is to shift the focus of training away from teaching just skills and toward a broader focus on generating and sharing knowledge, having a knowledge base that's shared amongst teams, amongst employees. Critical systematic thinking. Okay, this is where employees are encouraged to see relationships among ideas and think in new ways. A learning culture. This is where learning is rewarded, it's promoted, it's supported, and it's part of the organizational goals and objectives. Employees are valued. The organization recognizes that these employees are the source of its knowledge, and it focuses on ensuring the development and well-being of these people. So one condition behind any high-performance organization is that employees will be fully engaged with their work. Being fully engaged tends to require that employees experience their jobs as fulfilling or allowing them to fulfill important values. Okay, and research supports the idea that job satisfaction and job performance are related. So higher performance at the individual level contributes to higher performance for the organization as a whole. and do a lot to promote engagement. Okay, and some ways that organizations promote engagement is through career progress, recognition for accomplishments, and that sort of thing. In a recent survey, it said only half of the employees said they love their job and care about them. Okay, that's kind of concerning. What we would like to see is what's termed occupational intimacy. And what this means is that somebody loves their work, that they care about their coworkers and their coworkers care about them. They find their work more meaningful. And HR managers have a significant role in creating these sorts of conditions and creating this general culture for that. We would like passionate, engaged people in the workforce. A high-performance organization also needs to meet ethical standards. Okay, organizations and their employees must meet these standards if they're to maintain positive long-term relationships with customers and community. So ethical behavior is likely the result of the values held by the organization's leaders. This is something that comes down from the top and goes through the organization. And ethical behavior is a concern of human resource management. So systems that promote ethical behavior in HR are things like training and performance management, disciplinary policies. And another big concern of ethics from an HR perspective is that high ethical standards tends to attract very good employees and customers who share those standards. I mean, if you have high ethical standards, you're going to go work at an organization that is aligned with your values. Okay, so it's very important that HR builds this climate of ethics within the organization. One way to become a high-performing system is through technology, through information processing. And in the recent years, HR has taken advantage of all the things that have been going on, in that area. So, for instance, transaction processing. These are computation and calculations used to review human resource decisions, and this has all become automated. Things like documented employee relocation, payroll expenses, training, that sort of thing is all transaction-based, that's all automated, all processed. A decision support system is a system that allows managers to solve problems. It usually has a what-if feature. If you've ever worked with Excel, you know what what-if means. You can put in different scenarios. What if I increase training by $20,000? How will that impact efficiency? And you can run a little scenario based on that. So these systems allow HR people to figure those things out and to make better decisions. An expert system is one that incorporates the rules that people use and expertise. So it combines expertise of people, different rules for making decisions, and that sort of thing. And then lastly, a relational database is a program that stores data in files and links elements and allows you to sort the data based on different fields. And these are great because HR can now store information about employees and their skills here. They can do reporting off of this. So it makes it much easier to get information quickly and in a format that can be designed specifically to whoever needs that information. So that's important. HR has also become online. We talked in Chapter 1 about EHRD. Okay, and what this does is allows employees to do certain things in the system that before required actual people to do. So HR or people in an organization can go on and change their taxes, their benefits, look up information, that sort of thing. But it also kind of goes beyond that because now that we have the internet, EHRM combines that specific company information and also on the intranet or within the company and links that to sources on the internet. So this can be used for recruiting. A lot of social media applications are used to allow people to come together, to collaborate on projects, to solve problems, to socialize, and that sort of thing. So we can use YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, all kinds of different programs and devices to make things more efficient. Okay, so we have to measure how effective HR is. Okay, and there are several ways to do that, and these are becoming much more refined. One way we look at it is the customer-oriented approach, because HR serves in a staff function. Their customers are the employees and managers of the organization. Okay, and if HR takes that perspective, then we can sort of look at it that way. That, you know, and when I was in HR, I always told my staff that, you know, we have to consider our customers, and to some people you have to kind of think about that, but it's true. Those are our customers and we're there to serve them. Okay, then we have an HR audit where we can go in and check and measure various things and how programs are going. Are we in legal compliance? How are we doing with safety? So we kind of try to measure the various functions of HR. Then we can analyze the effect. We can see what effect have these programs had on efficiency and productivity, quality, turnover, you know, things like that. And we can actually measure those and put a dollar value to what HR is contributing to the organization, thus making HR a strategic partner in the organization. So it's important that we can bring this information together and quantify it. Okay, so if we improve, we can improve performance, we can look at efficiency, doing things less costly, effectiveness, how are we reaching the goals. And HR analytics is a process that measures the efficiency and effectiveness and says, are we achieving our objectives? Those are the high points for Chapter 9. I hope it gave you something to think about, especially, you know, how can you become more engaged and passionate, you know, when you're in a career position, and how important that is to the success of the organization as well as the success of your own career. As we discussed in the last chapter, we talked about the protean career, where you have to take responsibility for those things. So contributing to a high-performing organization will allow you to do that. Thank you.